Inside Running brought to you by Winning Rupert, whose progeny continue to excel on the racetrack. To get that winning feeling, find Rupert at geiselpark.com.au.
Currently 16 degrees in Perth, 19 and rain today. Pinjarra is the venue for racing. Heavy falls possible there as well, and a top of 19 after some fog this morning. Time for Inside Running. We welcome the team now, and Captain Darren McAullay. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Matt. Nice to join you on this gloomy Saturday morning outdoors. It's awfully overcast and the onset of no doubt a lot of rain to come through the course of the day. I think the highway reference clearly relates to another trip on the Forest Highway, if you're heading that way, to Pinjarra Park on this particular occasion, because the winter of Belmont Park discontent, of course, just continues, and another 11th hour change of venue again highlights at least, I suppose, the fragility of our once reliable winter track. A one-time heavy lifter of our racing industry. We relied upon this track to get us through the winter, but this hasn't been the case in 2025. Certainly costly, frustrating, and has put our other major tracks under enormous duress in what has been a very cold and wet winter by normal standards. So we had to go back to the drawing board after the form had been done for Belmont Park, and then the change at lunchtime yesterday to head back to Pinjarra Park to continue on. Digby Beacham, Scotty Embry, I don't necessarily know if they're can be any more said on this particular matter.
I think we covered it last week. Unfortunately, we're back down at Pinjarra today, again on the True. So we saw Pinjarra play pretty fence-dominated last week. Scott, I don't expect it would be the same today, but in fairness to the track staff down there, I'm not sure where else they can go. That track is so worn.
It's had enough. It's plain and simple. But look, I may be different to the pair of you. I think we do belong today at Pinjarra for the safety of getting the meeting through. I just think that the decision is made way too late. Like, the forecast for today's rain has been there for a week.
I think the question needs to be asked, how much rain is enough rain to call a meeting off under the circumstances we race in at this time?
Well, it was
Is it 10 mil? Is it 5 mil? Is it 15, 20 or 25 or 40? Because it changes. The landscape changes according to the Bureau of Meteorology.
Well, the only person that tips less winners than us, the man at the Bureau. He gets paid to be wrong all the time. But look, it was a private conversation. It was a tongue-in-cheek conversation this time last week that I had with Neville Parnham. It's almost like when you have a horse that you scratch during the day on a heavy 8, the stewards give it an embargo. You can no longer race on a heavy 8. It's almost like we've done that with Belmont Park now. We're going to race there if it's a good 4. We're going to race there if it's a soft 5 or a soft 6. And once it's worse than that, we're going to run away.
Yeah. Is wear and tear not wear and tear? And is protection of this strip, this one strip, which has caused so much angst?
That was Stevie Parnham's point.
Winter season.
In the question I asked him post-race of the very simple, how's the track going? The track itself, apart from that 150-metre area that's been in question for many a year, but now is the key to the questions, the rest of the track is pristine. We haven't raced there.
So it should be, yeah. It had no traffic. So it should be in good condition, and it is in good condition, but it's that area. And unfortunately, I fielded a few phone calls from participants yesterday, a lot actually, and they're all singing from the same hymn sheet. They're just aghast. They're aghast that, we are in this position again.
Have you had in your time so much traffic on your phone from racing industry participants?
No.
I mean, the frustration's now palpable.
Yeah, it is. It is. We ask so much of these other tracks and have been, and they're doing a wonderful job.
Sean and Jake Casey have put in a protest. Scratch their horses today.
It's exactly what they did last week. We moved from Belmont to Pinjarra. They had a couple of horses in last week. They took them out. So they've done exactly the same thing 7 days later.
We've had some significant scratchings today, which I wasn't really surprised by.
No. Well, anybody that shopped early has now had a change of venue, so they've all got a refund.
Yep.
the question then over the head is, do those punters that have copped a refund and a change of venue, do they reinvest? Because it's not in terms of, you talk more generically about turnover, and turnover is what's going to cost the industry today. The turnover, most of it is late turnover. And so it's those punters that are affected early, yes, but they're a small drop in the water compared to what comes late. But unfortunately, the reality is what comes late is from the bigger players who mainly are based outside of our own state, and a lot of them won't bet at a venue that's not Belmont Park or Ascot. They are prepared, like we are around this table. They've spent...
Or less likely to bet.
Yeah, but they've spent hours. And when I say they, I mean, like, the syndicates that are out there, they've not one individual. They are a group of individuals who have spent many hours and so much money investing time and energy into a meeting.
They do it forensically.
Correct. And if they have done that for Thursday, Friday on Belmont Park, they're going to throw the toys out of the cot. They're not going to punt at Pinjarra Park.
No. Well, mine went out the cot yesterday when we received the message, because the form had all been done around doing Belmont Park and hopefully, getting through. And now we go back, as Diggs, you've already identified there, we go back onto that pad, that inside pad there, which is, and then we can hear the rain obviously cascading down our doors at the moment on our tin roof.
Complicating matters also, I think, today is you're doing your form, and up until now, the rain hasn't fallen in Pinjarra. So I suspect I actually should have a look at that tracker. It would be only a
soft five.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was 6 early. And
is
5.
It a 5
now, is it? Okay.
With this rain that's set to hit down there in the Peel region, it's going to get into this, high softs, low heavies pretty quickly, you would think. But, yes.
But as
what do you do?
We're told, we're racing. We've got
correct.
a meeting.
If you get to 5:15 this afternoon and we've had 9 races or 8 races run and won, then it is the right decision. I think the frustration for people out there is the timing of the decision.
Well, in retrospect, the decision was the right one last weekend, was it not? Given the rain that fell.
Absolutely it was.
Well, you could have raced at Belmont last week. It didn't get as much rain as you did down there at Pinjarra.
I mean, for me, that's apples and oranges, because Pinjarra is able to cop it, and clearly the word from within is that Belmont can't. I mean, my point is more, if Belmont's not ready to return to, why did we go back at all?
Yeah. Well, you can't do much more damage.
It either is or it isn't.
Yeah, you can't do too much more damage to Pinjarra than what's already been done through the winter time. So I think, this is probably the last straw for Pinjarra. And look, can we just say thanks to Pinjarra?
Absolutely.
To Michael and the team down there, Jane and Dylan Bentley and his team.
Dylan's done a wonderful job.
More than most have had to do this winter period. So,
I concur.
we can't help but thank them for becoming I guess in some respects, a bit of a saviour for winter racing.
Without them and Bunbury and also Northern, there'll be Paddle, Creek.
Yeah, kudos where it's due in those clubs. And I know that we've mentioned it a lot over this winter period because they have saved the day on so many occasions.
But the other big change for today that we'll get throughout our preview is that for those people that have accepted in that 3-year-old 1,000 in race number 1 or the 66 plus 1,000 later in the day, all of a sudden they're racing down the straight.
And barriers have changed.
Correct. And so for all those people that nommed horses that may have drawn 14, 15, 16, barrier 23 at weights and then withdrew from those races, had they drawn the outside barrier down the 1,000-metre straight, maybe they stay in. And by the time the decision is made, you don't have the opportunity to enter a nomination for next Wednesday and bail out of today's meeting, for example. So now you just miss the run entirely. Look, you're never going to please everybody. I'm happy that we're racing, and I'm confident that Pinjarra, regardless of how much rain goes down today, we will race there. And that, in the end, is the win.
Yep. I think, most are now just shrugging their shoulders and saying, play on. That's pretty much about it. Soft 6 I've got here as my track rating at the moment, boys.
Soft 6, okay.
Soft 6 Pinjarra, that's what it says here on the Racing Wagering WA site. We're going to start the day 2 at 4 minutes after 1 with the Bert Harrison plate, and you can take out number 2, Slip the Jab. A field of 7 will run there. Race 1, number 2. The Nev Parham handicap. Good to see them honouring trainers, Hall of Fame trainers, great trainers today down there, the likes of Nifty Neville and Louis Luciani and the late and great Bert Harrison and Len Pike, Abbo Jordan, and of course the modern day champions, Grant Delana Williams as well. Race 2 named in honour of Neville, and he's not going there with Rommel's Goddess today, that is for sure. It's out, so is number 11, Heavenly Lady, from race 2, numbers 9 and 11. The third event, the Lou Luciani Handicap, and it is clear. Race number 3, the Lou. Race 4, the Len Pike Handicap, 2,000 metres, 4 Longines, 5 Roch Legacy are both out there. Race 4, numbers 4 and 5. The Albert Jordan Handicap. And here we take out number 5, Deferred, saved for another day by Simon Miller, race 5, number 5. Race 6 on the program is the Grant and Delana Williams Leading Trainer Handicap. Take out 3, Soldanel, 4, Border Force, 6, Eccentric Nature, 10, Cobb & Co. Numbers 3, 4, 6, 10. Some significant ones there out of race 6. The Swan Draft Belmont Newmarket at listed level 1200, our feature event. Put the pencil through 3, Saloon Bar, 4, Wind in the Lion, and 11, Rockin' Rupert. So numbers 3, 4, and 11. Down to 9 running there. And the last on the card at 5:15, take out 3, Linden's Gold, 4, Want a Winner, 9, Chino La Diva, 10, Dirty Chai. So in that last event, we've got 3, 4, and then 9 and 10. So there's plenty of them. We'll take a quick break and then be back with our thoughts on the first few races at Pinjarra Park this afternoon, the relocated venue for the Newmarket.
Welcome back to Inside Running for Winning Rupert, standing at Geisel Park Stud for $6,600.
Pinjarra Highway in the sunshine, where the days are longer, the nights are stronger than moon.
Great to have your company and share this Saturday morning with you inside running, and we're of course at Pinjarra Park, and we are heading down the Forest Highway to get there, of course, for the first at 4 minutes after 1 o'clock, where Slip the Jab has come out of the opening event, Matt, and we've got a field of 7 to run to start the day. Let's check in on the Tab Touch market.
175 Castle Road, Old Chap 11, Sunset Session at 10, $6 for Desert Life, warning label 34 into 420 Cosmic Treat, and Nice Sort 51.
All right then, Diggs, we'll let you fly first up. Off the handle, Castle Road, quality 2-year-old, isn't he? The winner of 3 of 6.
Yeah, trialled well too, Darren. It was a Monday trial, so it's a quick spin on what was a heavy track there on Monday to probably get his toe right in again down there in the opener at Pinjarra today, but he couldn't have trialled any better, Scott. It was the trial of a horse who's come back in excellent order.
Well, and he beat older horses who are better horses than what he meets here today. He is not just a winner against maidens, he's a stakes winner against maidens. But the question is going to arise. For most people, the dangers are likely to be the fillies, either a Desert Life or a Cosmic Treat. And is he 7 kilos better than them? But I think for most people, the answer is going to be yes.
Oh, yes.
Now, obviously, for Paul Jordan and for Craig Staples, the game changes significantly. Now he's going to race down the straight for the first time with 61 kilos on a track that may well, by that stage of the day, go from a 6 to a 7 to an 8. Who knows how much rain Pinjarra is actually going to get.
But you could trust him, couldn't you, though? He's a professional horse. He's a star.
Well, that's the point that I'm going to make. You know what you're going to get with him.
Perth Stakes winner against this lot.
And realistically, he can do what he wants because, as we've mentioned recently, when the rain does come, the Pinjarra Straight is not so much outside fence centric. Now, you'd still probably prefer to be there than not be there, but it also, when it gets to a 6 or a 7 or an 8, you can somewhat win down the centre, which is a rarity.
Won't they just push them all out there?
They will. There's only 7 horses in the end.
Exactly.
So, look, 61 kilos is obviously going to be the discussion point, but I think around the table we're all going to be Castle Roading.
He's a strong horse. He's a really powerful-looking 3-year-old. Diggs, I don't think 61 is any issue at all for him. So I'm leading the charge. He's skinny in the market, but
Yeah,
he
he's-
justifies, I think, being short in betting as well.
Absolutely. Look, for me, he's a tip no bet. I can't be tumbling into that price, but I do have him on top. From 4, Sunset Session. I thought the trial recently was sound. There's been good enough form out of that trial. 5, Desert Life, this Russian Revolution filly who trialled up particularly well in the lead up to her debut run there at Ascot midway through March. Things didn't go according to plan on that occasion. She was tipped out. She's come back. She's trialled up well. And I've got Cosmic Treat in for 4th, again off the back of a 400-metre trial recently. Covered the ground nicely. Looks nice and professional, a daughter of Universal Ruler, so you'd like to think she'll appreciate the ground that she'll encounter today. 1, 4, 5 and 7.
No doubt she'll have the flippers on there, as most of the Universal Rulers tend to do. But it's 1 from 7 for me for those reasons, Diggs. I've gone with Sunset Session, who's now drawn very, very favourably. It began well and led them up in the trial there, and of course did beat Split the G home, who ran first up to Cape Lewin and Hubble's Dragon down here last Saturday. So that becomes a bit of a reference point, particularly the barrier changing around now as far as he is concerned. Has gone from boiled lollies to chocolates as a result of the track change. And then I'll go 3, Old Chap, having its first start, which here, under these circumstances, maybe hasn't drawn the best of gates as what it would have been at Belmont Park. But I thought, it was okay in its trial. It won by a margin, sat handy. The others probably couldn't pick their feet up late, which it maybe made the trial look better than what it was. And Desert Life, as you say, that there hasn't been much come out of that trial, though, subsequently. I think Marla's Melody failed the other day, and Daisy's for the Ladies was unplaced. They all came through that same trial, so that sort of concerned me a little bit, but that doesn't mean anything really when you're going there on these type of conditions. And she's a Russian Revolution as well. So 1, 7, 4, 3 for me, but wouldn't be at all surprised if Desert Life ran particularly well first up. Matt?
Nothing more to add at my end.
Scotty?
1, 7, 5, 4.
1, 7, 5, 4. And Digby 1, 4, 5, 7. Mac is 1, 7, 4 and 3. Over to race number 2 now. This is at 144, Neville Parnham handicap. Over 1,600, 9.11 out, Outspoken Lad at $9.50. $10 Idyllic Ruler into $4.60 Noble Connection. Catch C's Hands at 10. From 23 into 9, Be Awesome. Rockin' Wonders at $6.50. $6 for Decision Maker. He's Archie at 41. Then Blue Card 91 down to Impressive Jewel, who's 480 to 4.
Scotty, how do you see this race with good bit of form being shown by Noble Connection from Dan and Ben Pearce's yard? Catch These Hands, gets the blinkers back on and has been dynamite with the shades. So are they the two that you're going to be primarily looking at?
Well, I mean, I've got a bit of respect too for Rockin' Wonder because of his racing pattern. He just takes luck out of the equation, rolls to the top. Be Awesome's in really good form, but in much, much weaker company than what he meets here. But no, I'm going to follow through with Noble Connection here today because, look, this horse last start, realistically, shouldn't have been able to do what he did, which was sprint over the top of them.
You know
because
what? He's got a really good turn of foot under these conditions.
Correct. He seems to really appreciate getting his toe in. It's only been a week since the season's changed and we got to the 1st of August, but I'm big on my 4-year-olds in West Speed Platinums at this time of year. They're the 3-year-olds that weren't eligible for this grade of racing a couple of weeks ago. And since we've had the reins around, he really has come back bigger and better and stronger, and he gets through the conditions. That run last start, Show Lass, was solid with Worcester in defeat. And you probably question a little bit how good they are, but we're on talking about a West Speed Platinum on a Saturday. They threw the anchor something chronic in that race, and he was out the back, and he shouldn't have been able to pick them up, and yet he still sprint over the top of them.
And he was 5 deep down the side and then wide on the corner too. I love the way that he's going. He's flying, this horse, right at the very moment, Diggs.
Yeah, he's going really well. This is a good test for him because he does rise in grade. I understand what Scott's saying in terms of he is a recently turned 4-year-old. I thought the race actually had a little bit of depth to it. I love the first up effort of Catch These Hands down there at Bunbury. I thought it was a very, very good effort. That was over the 14. Gets the 16 today, gets the cups back on.
Another Rommel.
Yeah, Rommel.
Flying in the wet.
Yeah, and I think today can probably settle a little bit closer. So you're getting around that $9, $10 quote.
You know, all of his 8 wins have been with the blinkers. They're back on today. I think that they're the 2 horses that will fight the finish of the race out. Noble Connection, Catch These Hands. What do you reckon?
I don't disagree. That's the Quinella for me.
Yeah, I went for Catch These Hands from 3, Noble Connection. Noble Connection going very, very well. 2, Idyllic Ruler. Provided he jumps, you'd like to think he's going to be parking all over the speed. And then I went down to 12, Impressive Jewel. Had been racing in better company up until she was able to break that maiden status. Just a little bit of a different race shape today. And saying that, you do get the services of W. Pike, 4, 3, 2 and 12.
Yeah, it goes from that maiden to a 58 too, but thought, maybe questioning the form of the horses that she beat up on last start. But the good thing about it was too, as you could see, she was given a good ride there. She was able to flow into the race, and she looks really sort of a real one-pace, build type of a mare. So she'll be in my mix as well. Maybe another horse who's a good miler in this grade, Outspoken Lad, the stablemate of Noble Connection, but I love the way that he's going, Scotty, like you. I'm 3, 4, 12 and 1.
I tipped into Outspoken Lad last week, and I don't think he really handled the heavy. He just was he travelled into the race okay, but then when Zeph asked him for an effort, he was just sort of spinning the wheels. So I tipped around him today and I went with the stablemate Noble Connection. 3 from 4, 6 Rockin' Wonder, 7 Decision Maker. He's going really well this preparation. Didn't have a spot for Impressive Jewel. I thought, considering what she beat in that maiden, was really questionable. And prior to that, yes, as Dig says, she was in better company, but she was beaten margins at big prices. I thought you were paying a fair old pike tax in that event. 3, 4, 6, 7.
Yeah, they did come when the markets were first up, and then we were at Belmont Park. They really wanted to be on board. Impressive Jewel, it was 7 into 460 in no time whatsoever. So, but of course that all changed subsequently once the meeting was called off at Belmont Park. Matt, let's go back and recap those numbers, and we'll have a look at the market for race number 3.
Noble Connection number 3 from Scott, 4, 6, 7. Diggers with 4, Catch These Hands, then 3, 2, 12. Darren's also 3, Noble Connection over 4, 12 and 1. In the third at 2.19, the Lulu Ciani, it's over 1,600. 2.70 in from 3.20, Lord Gannicus. In a point to 5, Cool Memory. Out half a point to $7, Sunny Honey. Famous Dane is 5 into 4.80. Above the peg, 51. 3.90 out to 5, Arcadia Night. $13 from 9.50, Decoration. Kerman Rock is 126, and So War, 71.
Diggs, very interested to get your thoughts here in the Lulu Ciani. Lord Gannicus is a horse here that really has found his way back into form.
Yeah, he has. He's going particularly well, and I love the claim here as well. For Chanel, she's got some excellent rides today, looking for that maiden Saturday winner, and I think she can get one of a few today. I'm thinking she's going to have a good day aboard Lord Gannicus here, Scott.
I think it's a really good opportunity for her. I actually am probably coming to think that he's one of the better bets on the program, Lord Gannicus, because at least you're going to get a run for your money. You know, he does what he does. He's in good form. He's off 7 days. I think he's better suited back out to a mile.
Absolutely.
And realistically, there are no sensationals in this.
No,
exactly right.
It's a great draw. The use of Cooper's claim, you know, he copes with 7 days really effectively as well. So I think you might be on the money. I think he could finish up under these conditions this afternoon. The form that he's in, where he's going to settle, he ticks a lot of boxes to become one of our best for the day.
Well, looking at his main dangers, I've got a query on Sunny Honey getting the 1,600, especially a really strongly run 1,600. A Cool Memory's drawn 9 of 9, and I imagine that they're going to eye off the Breeze, but it's not an easy thing to be working forward to Breeze outside of Lord Gannicus, carry the exact same amount of weight as him and beat him home. And then Famous Dane's got a bit of a tricky alley to contend with. So I kept coming back to Lord Gannicus.
Yeah, ditto with me. Arcadia Night, interesting blinkers going back on. All 3 wins have been with the Shades. Has won on a heavy 9 as well, and probably had a few excuses the other day, Diggs.
Yeah, I think he just needs it heavy, and I'm just not sure this rain's going to arrive in time. I've actually put him in for third, thinking this track was already going to be in the heavy range, but I sided up with Lord Gannicus on the spin. Good claim. You know where he's going to be in the run. And that was a nice spot to be there 7 days ago at Pinjarra.
Absolutely. 1 and clearly with me as well. 4 Famous Dane, although he got that perfect run throughout to get the job done. It was a mile. I'll stick with him and Pike in this particular race as certainly one of the dangers to Lord Gannicus. And then 6 Arcadia Night I'll throw with a big question mark. Don't mind the conditions suiting Sunny Honey. I just worry about the 1,600 running it out strongly, Scott. So 1, 4, 6, lower down the order, the 3.
One for me, Lord Gannicus, go back 3 starts ago, was beaten in a head bobber by Famous Dane and meets him 4 kilos better today and rolls straight to the top. So 1 for me, Lord Gannicus, 2 Cool Memory, 4 Famous Dane and 3 Sunny Honey. 1, 2, 4, 3.
Diggs, how do you see that one?
1362, not much more to add.
All right. Okay, we'll take a break on the other side of this here on Inside Running. Stay with us, of course. Plenty more to come. Our preview of Pinjarra Park racing, of course. That venue changed from lunchtime yesterday. Matt.
1 Lord Gannicus, 243 from Scott, 1362 from Diggers, and 1, 4, 6 and 3 from Darren. Right now, it is 26 minutes.
Welcome back to Inside Running for Winning Rupert, standing at Geisel Park Stud for $6,600.
I'm glad we leave this to you. I take no responsibility.
Hey, I'm on that same road just a little later.
And you'll be heading
And
to...
I'll be going further, down to Bunbury.
Oh, right. Okay. Donaldson Park, the venue for harness racing tonight.
That's
Might be
correct.
A bit wet down there as well.
I'm not sure, actually. No rain at the moment.
Okay. Well, we'll no doubt get plenty at Pinjarra through the course of the day, as we're going to be getting it everywhere down here in the southern half. The Len Pike Handicap, they salute one of the all-time greats here in Father Pike. 2,000 metres. There has been an adjustment to the distance there with the switch from Belmont to Pinjarra, 21 back to 2,000. And Longines and Roch Legacy have both been taken out, Matt. So the market, in terms of what has happened now in the last 24 hours since they reopened betting, how does it look?
380 from 320 True Player into 6 Alaskan. Mansour Magic is at $5 down to Beats of War 20 into 14. 51 Lakeview Lightning. Vancouver Storm 20. 11 into 8 Mr. Talentino. Ocean Ranger 9. 7 for Sirota. And at 26 Sketter.
Do you want to take the first ball here, Diggs?
No.
No. Scotty?
Sure.
Okay.
Go.
What do you think?
I don't sleep with long.
Short
I'm lucky
run,
too.
long run. What are you coming off?
This has got a really long tail, this race. There's a few horses here that probably don't belong on a Saturday, to be brutally honest. I'm going to reluctantly go with True Player, but my concern for him is that I made him the lay of the day last start and he got beat, so it was a
Tick.
good result. I don't think he really handles the wet, which is my red flag that I'm going to raise for him here, because it's likely to pour throughout the day for him. But I just kept coming back to the fact that he seems like he's a somewhat progressive stayer, and everything else in this race either isn't very good or isn't in very good form.
They put a tongue tie on him today. Did that have any impact last start? Do you think that they sort of assessed that maybe he could have got his tongue back a little bit? Maybe it was the fact that it was a heavy 8. I think you're probably more right in regards to that. But there aren't too many options that you get left with in this race.
Well, what do you do with Mans and Magic? Every man and his dog wanted to be Team Mans and Magic last week with Pike going on, and 7 days later you've got the stable apprentice in Chanel Cooper. He wasn't a bad run last week, and when you review the entirety of the meeting, it was so fence-in run.
I thought he was very good, all things considered.
So he probably got himself to the worst part of the track.
Yep.
Beat True Player home when they met the last time that they clashed. I think it's either 1 or 3, without any great conviction, I might add. The one that, and I listened to the boys on Thursday afternoon, Marty and the team, Brad McManus and who else was on there with them discussing the meeting? I'll come back to it in a few minutes. But they were really digging into Mr. Talentino and going on the basis that he's a dual 2,200 metre winner. He'll get through these conditions very well. And on occasions, they have backed the horse with very successful outcomes. So there was a good push. Russell Collett was the other one who was chiming in on the bandwagon there. I picked up the thread of their optimism in regards to this race. But That was at Belmont Park when they were discussing it.
1-3-6-2 for me. True Player on top from Manzor Magic. 6 Beats of War, third up today, out to the 2,000 metres, and 2 Alaskan, just looking for a spike in his form. I think he's better than what he has shown this time in 1-3-6-2.
Just doesn't seem to be a wet tracker, does he? Stats don't show that. It's been 553 days, and he now goes, from 16 to 2,000 metres. Scotty, have you lost confidence in faith in Alaskan at all, or do you still think that there's a day for him to bounce back and show some of that old form?
Yeah, well, the only run he's put in this prep that's been any good was behind Fancy Red, second up. Other than that, he's been pretty plain to my eye. I mean, I make half a quarter of a case for him that it was fifth up last prep that he sort of started to hit his straps.
What did you make of when the markets were first out? And it's irrelevant now, but he went up $12 and he was crunched into $5.50.
There's still money around for him now, Alaskan. He's still 7 into 6 after they've been reevaluated.
Yep.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 11. I don't have a great level of love for this race, but I thought True Player was the progressive horse. But if it was a good 4, I'd be nearly chips in with him. But I'm just a little bit wary that maybe he's not on his preferred surface. 1, 2, 3, and I'll include 11, Sorota, because he's going in career best form for new trainer Josh Crispin.
Yes, he is. He's racing very well indeed. Diggs, your summation of the 4th.
1-3-6-2.
On 1-3, True Player Manzor Magic. 9, Mr. Talentino. I'll take a tip from those who clearly know more than I do. And number 2, Alaskan, or 11, Sorota. I wasn't really sure which way to go there. 1-3-9. I'll put 11 in like you, Scotty. I think there I'll have a change of heart in my pick 4 there today. I've not been an Alaskan fan for some time there, but money speaks all languages. Matt.
1, True Player from Scott. 2, 3, then 11. Diggers is also 1, True Player 3, 6, 2. Mac is also 1, True Player 3, 9 and 11 in race number 4. The main quaddie at 3:35, the Albert Jordan handicap. Number 5 is out, 1,000 metres here. 21 for Resonator. Maddie Girl is now to 3:10 into 7:50 Massimune. Street Parade at 71, down to Horcrux at 3:80. 11 Earth God. 12 now for Impressive India. Under Influence at 61 into 4:20 Sunlit Fresco, and His Angelic at 21.
All right, well, I'm going to throw you the cherry this time around, Diggs, because Maddie Girl is the beneficiary of the track change, the barrier draw.
Yes, she is. She was always going to be sort of settling in a rearward position, you would have thought, around the corner at Belmont, and then hopefully for connections, zapping them or trying to zap them. But today now she's drawn the right part of this Pinjarra straight. She's got previous experience down the straight when she had to carry the 60 and was only beaten a length. She was pretty good that day. She didn't get a lot of luck, and she was very good the other day on a genuine soft track. So she's a live hope in this race, which lost a little bit of its lustre, I think, with Deferred coming out. And I think one thing with Deferred we do know is a genuine wet tracker.
I was crestfallen, I must say, Diggs, when I saw the scratching of Deferred. I was pretty keen about her and her chances today, certainly under these conditions. Scotty, she's not there, save for another day, though. How much of an impact is this barrier going to benefit Maddie Girl?
Oh, hugely. If you watch her one and only run down the straight behind Main Act, she carried 60 that day, and with a clear run through, she probably should have won. And then she went to Bunbury and she beat a very much informed sprinter in Desert Whisper. She goes from near on the lay of the day to, for many people, the play of the day because of the change between Belmont Park and being potentially 3 deep with 59 and now hugging the outside fence.
Yeah, I had to write down the order, probably 3rd, 4th best at Belmont Park, but I've had to change my complete assessment of the race and the way it's going to map and the benefit she gets.
I think she's actually in career best form. The 2 runs have been really good. The figures are good out of those 2 performances this time in. She's strengthened up. She's never going to be a big filly / mare, but she is a different animal this time in, and I think she can go down the straight today and make amends for that first up performance on the 5th of July.
Well, she trialled brilliantly, both occasions.
Yep.
No, she's done everything absolutely spot on, right the way through prep and then getting to the races so far. So, hopefully that she can get the job done again this afternoon, because I am going to be with Maddie Girl. It wasn't my initial selection, but the venue change has certainly changed my way of thinking. What about Masamune here? Again, a horse who probably is going to handle these conditions. He's a universal ruler, 1,000-metre horse, and dropped 6 kilos on that last effort. And of course, you get that Desert Whisper thread of form through Maddie Girl, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You do. There's no knock on him. He's going along well. Horcrux has got form behind Want to Winner and also Desert Whisper form. And then you've got the fresh mare in Sunlit Frisco, who trialled particularly well in that trial where Deferred made ground. Sunlit Frisco was throttled down over the concluding stages and looked nice and free in her action. It was a beautiful moving trial.
The only win for Masamune this prep was first up down the straight. So he's also definitely a beneficiary. But I'm with that trial horse in Sunlit Fresco. I thought she trialled really well. I've always had so much time for this now 5-year-old mare. But that run behind All Play 4 starts ago, when she bombed the start, she sat 4 deep, no cover, and she finished within half a length of All Play. Gee, she was huge that day. She's got a world of ability, this mare. And I would have preferred if it was Belmont Park, and today she probably has to sit outside of Earth God as opposed to the other way round at Belmont. But I'm going to still side with Sunlit Fresco, but nowhere near as keen as I would have been had we been at Belmont Park. 10 Sunlit Fresco, 2 Maddie Girl, huge beneficiary of the change of location, 6 Horcrux and 7 Earth God, 10 from 2, 6, 7.
Yeah, they pinched a fair bit of the overs with Earth God, didn't they, in that first market when it was out there on Thursday morning, 31 to 16 very, very quickly. So
enjoy your refund.
Is smoke, there is fire indeed. Enjoy it. 2 for me, Maddie Girl, 3 Masamune, 8 Empress of India I'm going to include. She's now, again, I think one of the beneficiaries of a better barrier, and 10 Sunlit Fresco as well, Dig. So 2, 3, 8, 10.
2, 6, 10, 3 Maddie Girl from the stablemate. Horcrux 10 Sunlit Fresco, love the trial, and 3 Masamune proven down the straight. 2, 6, 10, 3.
So Sunlit Fresco from Scott, number 10 at 4.20, 2, 6, 7 the minors. 2 is the tip from Diggers Maddie Girl at 3 even, 6, 10 and 3. Likewise with Darren 2 on top to beat 3, 8 and 10. That starts the quaddie, leg 2 at 10 after 4. The congratulations, Grant Alana Williams leading trainer 24.5, and it's over 1,400. 3, 4, 6 and 10 are all out. Simply Thinkins now to 5.50, into 5.50 as well, playing games. Cruise to Victory into 3.80. Warrelly Last now at 11. $8 for Lombardina. Royal Splendour is at 20. Down to Hey Pino, who's into 4.80. 61 Trooper Phoenix. Where's My Lunch now $9.50, with Big Swoop 91 and Random Rewards 51.
Okay, so when these markets first came out back Thursday, we had Eccentric Nature sold an L top 2 in the market. They're no longer there. They're out. Can Grant and Delana still win this race despite Eccentric Nature's scratching, the race that's named in their honour?
I think they can. Look, in the end with the scratchings, when you look at this race, this is no better than a West Speed Platinum.
Not now.
No, that's the point.
Yeah, not now. With the scratching of Soldanel and Eccentric Nature, even the best version of Border Force Orbit, we haven't seen it for a little while. It's a pretty thin race.
I've had to really change my view on it because my top 2 picks came out. So I was left by default in some regards with Grant and Delana's Cruise to Victory, who's been, if nothing but consistent so far. It copped the backwash of a check in that race last start, which was a West Speed Platinum behind Repeater down here, and thought that with even luck this afternoon, it could be a nice day for Shani Cooper.
Hopefully it is. Between Lord Gannicus and Cruise to Victory, hopefully she can break that Saturday duck, and she's going to ride plenty of Saturday winners because she's been in good form for months. But
love her improvement too. You can just see the way that her finesse, her style's improving, and clearly working very hard. And she's got a great mentor, great tutor as well there in Alana. Diggs, Where's My Lunch grows a leg in the wet, and they're going to get their wish today.
Yeah, exactly. You know where he's going to be in the run as well. He's in good form. Look, I tipped into playing games last start, and she was gunned down by Simply Thinking, but I thought she fought on okay, and with perhaps her main rival being Cruise to Victory likely to settle behind her, I thought the the each-way quote about playing games wasn't the worst way to go.
Yeah, look, I agree, but it just worries me with the conditions. I mean, it's never looked that comfortable on rain-affected ground, and we don't even know how it's going to be down there. You'd imagine by 4:10 they would have had a bit.
Well, you'd think so.
Yeah,
you'd think so.
But definitely one of those that has to be given great consideration. Scotty?
What about Hey Pino? The trial was solid. The first up run was super behind Repeater. He's won since. Made ground last start behind King Adviso. Mean Feet has won since.
Yep. Is Warrelly Lass improving enough third run in to give consideration to?
That's maybe my little nag on the simply think and playing games form, is that Warrelly Lass was as good, if not better than them, and she's a 2,200 metre kind of mare. So, I mean, I've tiptoed around that form. So I've gone 5 Cruise to Victory. From 13, Where's My Lunch, just in case the rains do come. 11, Hey Pino. I think he's a massive winning chance. And I did include Simply Thinkin', but I've got a query on the quality and depth of that as a form line. 5, 13, 11 and 1.
Okay, well, that took then the top 2 out of my equation, I think, as a result of that as well. So 5, 13, 11, 7 for me, Diggs.
2, 5, 11 and 1 for me. Playing games from Cruise to Victory, 11 Hey Pino and 1 Simply Thinking. 2, 5, 11 and 1.
All right, then. We'll come back after a break, recapping those selections for the second leg of the quadrella today. The third leg is the feature event. It's the listed Swan Draft, Belmont Newmarket.
And as we go to that, 5 is Scott's tip in race number 6, which is Cruise to Victory, 13, 11, 1. Digby with 2 playing games, 5, 11, 1. And Darren's gone 5, Cruise to Victory, 13, 11 and 7.
Welcome back to Inside Running for Winning Rupert, standing at Geisel Park Stud for $6,600.
Long and winding road that leads to your...
Death by 1,000 cuts here this morning with you as the musical director.
Well, I'll tell you what, punters, it's kept them quiet. There's been no whinging.
No, it's been quite off air, hasn't it? Normally robust, the discussion.
Yeah.
Far more robust than when we're on air, of course. Diggs, you're decidedly muted
Oh, well, I'm just...
today. Over it?
Yeah, I am like the industry. Flummoxed.
You're a wonderful reflection of it.
I'm just... Well, I'd like to say things and I just won't because I like my job. And I don't need a lawsuit.
Just hold your fire.
Yes, I just best shut up.
Sit on a bit of dry powder on a very wet morning.
And I'll take the headphones off and kick the cat.
All right, then. I do feel sorry for
to the
your
cat
poor
lovers.
pussy cat. Hey,
Yes.
let's have a look at the market whilst you contemplate what you're going to adopt. How does it look for the new market here for our good friends at Swan Draft as well?
Yes.
$9.50 Man Crush Fanta is at $6, down to Gemma's Son 16, Pooley at $7, $5.50 now for Fast Flicker, into $8.50 Fluoro Neuro, goes to Walks at 41, into 7 Petula, and down to Storm Chaser 5 into 3.
Okay, well, Wind in the Line, the Bolton winner, of course, is out of the race now. How did it change things there for you, Diggs?
Well, I think this was always going to be a tougher assignment than what Wind and the Lion took care of in the Bolt. And this is a race with a bit more depth. We get to see the return of Storm Chaser. Fluoro Neuro is a horse that interests me in this race. What do we do with Storm Chaser here? I think he's got wonderful upside, Scott, but he hasn't trialled. He might cop a... Well, again, we're guessing. It's, 5 minutes away from 9 o'clock. We don't know what that track is going to be rated at this stage of the afternoon.
Let me throw you this scenario, which is probably how I reviewed the Bolton in the end, and potentially even before that when Repossession won down the straight in the Beaufine. Some of these horses that are in this lineup here, are we looking at a collective of sprinters who may be past their best? Man Crush now a 6-year-old, below his best in the Bolton. Fanta now an 8-year-old. Gemma's Son now an 8-year-old. Pooley's 9. Fast Flicker, somewhat new to the scene, probably looking for a touch further. Fluoro Neuro, same story, looking for a little bit further. Goes to Walks is now an 8-year-old. So
You come back to the 5-year-olds here.
by process of elimination, is Storm Chaser a little bit like your Wind and the Lions, like your Repossessions? The new kid on the block for quite a while now in WA has been, the alternate form's been the good form in the sprinting ranks.
One horse you didn't touch on there, Petula. What did you make of that first up run?
Really good.
Good. Now,
I loved her effort last week.
Yeah.
She's never going to be the horse that we saw as a 2-year-old.
No. But, and look, she may well have been on the right part of the track. Well, she was. And that's what happens when you get winter racing and lanes and the rest of it. Everyone's trying to be on that one pad. So off that, it would suggest that she might be back to somewhere near a level which we have seen previously.
I love the run, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
I thought it was terrific there, and going to this listed race. Now, second up, I think she proved to us that she can more than handle a heavier track. I'm expecting that if Storm Chaser doesn't win this, then she potentially will.
I'd agree with that. I think for the sake of WA racing, in all due respect to his opposition, you probably want to see Storm Chaser go there and zap them today, because then you go, yep, okay, he is now a black type performer. He's got some assignments ahead of him, i.e. a golden saddle or even some bigger fish to fry as well. It'd be good for our sprinting ranks here if he won.
Concur. Absolutely. We need it. We need it because there's a real lack of depth in our sprinters right at the very moment too. And if he can produce something fresh, special today under these conditions, I think we can cheer and think, well, we have got a horse to follow. He is very capable on the fresh side, as we have seen, and I've got to go with him. The scratching is ultra significant with Wind and the Lion coming out, and the point that you've made, Scott, and I do concur with you, I think they're probably starting to get to the past their best, although Fanta, he won this race 2 years ago. Man Crush was placed in this race last year, but they're a year older now, and they haven't got any better. They're not expected to. They're at their limit.
It's a field of 10, and I've probably just upset 9 sets of connections, so could be a fun day down at Penny. But I think Storm Chaser...
It's not a popularity contest, Scott.
No, I wouldn't win anyway.
No, your opinion's valued here, and I do agree. And I think most, if you look at it sensibly, and as much as people might love a certain horse and have followed a certain horse, and horses have been really good. I've got mates of mine who are involved in a number of these horses that are running in it. But I think suffice to say, they still hope that they can get out there and earn for them.
Look, I was tipping into Storm Chaser before Wind and the Lion came out. I actually believe that some of his form lines are more than good enough to measure up. That run last start, which was 70-odd days ago behind Love and War, he conceded weight to Love and War and also to Taropa. And you see Taropa go to the line locked together with Repossession in the Bowfine. You tie those in. Even the day that he absolutely towed up Ice Pick Nick, and then there were runs over that period, the Bunbury Stakes, Pinjarra Classic. Ice Pick Nick wasn't disgraced at that level.
No.
I think he more than measures up here today.
Lock him in.
12 for me, Storm Chaser. 10, Petula. 6, Pooley. 7, Fast Flicker. 12, 10, 6 and 7.
Okay, then how do you see this one, Dig?
Similar, 12 Storm Chaser on top from 10 Petula. 8 Fluoro Neuro. He will need further, but I've learnt my lessons many times in regards to this stable, getting a horse to run well fresh over a trip, which is probably not ideal. And 2 Fanta, 12, 10, 8 and 2.
Yeah, I thought that he was in the mix lower down exotic-wise. Fresh conditions certainly will suit 1200, I think, fresh first up, and a good gate. So makes my top 4, but I'm with 12 like you both. Storm Chaser over 10 Petula. I will include Fanta building third run. Had to work a bit there too in the Bolton. He's got a very good record at 1200, so I'll include Fanta. And 8 Fluoro Neuro might be my next best there, but 12, 10, 2 and 8 in the Newmarket for me.
At $3, Storm Chaser number 12, Scott's tip 10, 6, 7, as it is from Diggers, 12, 10, 8 and 2. And for the hat-trick, Mac has gone 12 to beat 10, 2 and 8. The 8th is at 5:15. Happy 80th birthday, Bobby McPherson, handicap over the 1300, 3-4, along with 9 and 10 are all out. And $7.50 now, Desert Nymph Savage One's at 31. We go to Sentimental Belle, who's now at 6. Laquetta's Gift, 20, 21, Hostile Talk. Into $2.30 Supernatural, down to I Dreamed a Dream at $34. Into $3.60 now Spectacular Park, Amjard's at $15, and into $8.50 King Adviso.
All right then, Scott, we'll go with you here. In this final event, now that Want a Winner has come out, what's the way to go? Is it the safe way to go? Is it the Pike way to go?
I'm going to shuffle them up the order, so I am going to go with Supernatural, but from a tipping versus betting perspective, I'm going to tip Supernatural, but if I had to have a bet in this race, $8.50 Desert Nymph is a price. It's a great price, especially by this time of the day. It's race number 8. Whatever rain we get is better for her. Whatever chop in the track we get is better for her. She was, in my eyes, better than Petula last week. Petula goes to the feature. She drops back in grade off 7 days.
I liked her first up run. It was one of those runs where she loomed, but she just needed it. And she peaked and blew out a little bit in the last 150 there. But, gee, she took some improvement going into that next run on a heavy 8 too. And I know Michelle Hagley will be outdoors just doing a rain dance at the moment too. She's a nice mare. She's a competitor. I like the way that she goes about things as well. But, she's Supernatural is in very good form, dropping back to a 66 plus. Thought it was a really dominant victory on a heavy 8 2 runs ago down south in Bunbury before that last effort. So I'm probably leaning towards Supernatural and the Super Jock in the final event, where he always tends to do very well, Digby.
Yeah, look, she was very good the other day. She's been good all the way through this campaign, Supernatural, no knock on her. I'm actually quite keen here about the 5, Sentimental Bell. I thought that recent run behind Want a Winner and Horcrux was terrific. She's a duck, so if it is nice and wet at this stage of the afternoon, I suspect that Sentimental Bell with Chanel Cooper in the saddle going to be awfully hard to beat.
Agree. I think it's a nice little load-up quinola there in the last of the day, and then throw your Desert Nymphs in there and maybe a Spectacular Park as well. Scotty, how did you sum it all up there in the last leg of the quaddie?
8 for me, Supernatural, but I feel like I went the soft option. 1, Desert Nymphs, probably where the money needs to go. 5 in Sentimental Bell, and 12 Spectacular Park. 8, 1, 5, 12.
Same 4, different order, 5, 8, 12 and 1. Sentimental Bell on top from 8, Supernatural. Lost no admirers with that recent effort. 12, Spectacular Park. The last 2 runs have been very good, and 1, Desert Nymph. I just have a nag about her carrying the 60.5 today. 5, 8, 12 and 1.
Okay, the power of Pike is something supernatural. So we'll go that way in the last 8. 5, Sentimental Bell. Agree with you, Digby, too. It's the value play in the last. And number 1, Desert Nymph. A big fan of this mare. 12, Spectacular Park. So numbers all very similar. 8, 5, 1, 12 in the last, Matt.
And the order is from Scott, 8 to beat 1, 5, 12. Digby, 5, 8, 12, 1. And Darren is 8, 5, 1 and 12.
Diggs, best bet time there. It's one of those challenging days now.
It is. It certainly is. Race 8, number 5, Sentimental Bell on top as the best for me today.
Okay, Sentimental Bell for you as a BB. Scotty, are you Lord Gannicusing?
I am. Same stable. So race 3, number 1, Chanel Cooper's first Saturday winner is Lord Gannicus.
All the best, Chanel, and riding in very good form too at the moment, the young lady, and she's certainly going to pick up a Saturday win, if not today, in the very near future. Love the way that she's going about things. Diggs, lay for the day?
My lay for the day is...
You don't have to.
No, I'm happy to do it. Race 2, number 12, Impressive Jewel.
You do have to. It's not optional.
Impressive Jewel. Okay.
$4 currently, so not for me. I just thought it was a
cut.
different race shape for mine today.
Okie doke. Scotty.
Race 2, number 12, Impressive Jewel.
You're an Impressive
Same.
Jewel, yeah, okay. We could probably all agree there. I might... What's Horcrux at the moment?
Yeah, he's...
360?
He's in there,
it might be on the shorter side for me. Race 5, number 6, Horcrux. Is there a particular play? My play's been obliterated by scratchings, so...
my play is race 3, number 1, Lord Gannicus, and race 8, number 5, Sentimental Bell, $17.55 for that double.
I'm going to play race number 5, backing Sunlit Fresco, saving Maddie Girl. Back 10, save 2.
Okay, I've got to stick with Noble Connection. It was one of my Noble Connection into, I think the other value one I like that's a bit shorter now, of course, with all these scratchings, but Cruise to Victory with Chanel Cooper aboard there. I'll take a softish option going forward there in terms of our play for the day. Maybe the best place to throw a umbrella in the car if you're going in. You might need one at some point. Diggs, thanks. Put the feet up today, buddy.
Yes, I shall.
You need a rest.
I just need to stay away from the microphone, I think.
Medicate
Yeah.
with a couple of nice frothies.
Then stay away from a microphone.
Yes, It's good that the weekend has come.
Yeah, I think so.
For you. But you'll be toiling, as always, Scotty, down there with your great mate, Lachlan.
I'll be there. Happy birthday today to Bradley Michael Parnham and tomorrow to Bobby Mack.
Wasn't it Stephen Parnham's birthday recently or not? Am I getting it wrong?
A few weeks ago.
Okay, yes.
Turned the big 4-0, Stevie.
Stevie boy, yep, absolutely. I was there the day that he arrived into the world. We wet his head, just goes to show how old we're getting. But it's nice to have you with us too as well. Lucky to have you, Matt, steering the ship on the other side of the desk there and doing a super job. Thanks for your company, everyone. With Inside Running there, Pinjarra Park, that's where we're heading right now for Newmarket, day after the call late yesterday, the 11th hour call on not to run at Belmont Park. So from Pinjarra Park, we'll look forward to your company then.